important thing is that if you're working on someone that has a very large weight differential, then it's a matter of working with people that are similar size or smaller as you're learning some of these like advanced flying techniques until you get your own posture and equilibrium and strength so that I can start, you know, then maybe working on someone that's 170 pounds or maybe 180 pounds. Would I be able to do that on Julian? No. I wouldn't even come close to attempting it, right? But I would love to see someone who is, you know, closer to 250 pounds be able to like do that for him, because everybody deserves to receive the work. In Thailand, everybody's the same size. They're little people, right? And unless they've eaten Western diet for way too long, they stay little, right? And traditionally in Thailand, women work on women, men work on men, you know? And I love being able to share the work. And I don't know if there are any questions before we finish, but I feel like it's kind of a good place to stop. We're getting close to 5:30, so. Any questions about what you learned today? Did you guys have fun? Yeah, awesome. And yeah, we might do this again in December if you want to. Like this is open, you know. So I'm probably thinking like the first or second weekend of December. I have your contact information, and we'll get it aligned. You know, I know things come up. It's the holidays, and you're like, oh, but this is like, I think it's a very peaceful practice. It can be exciting. It's a lot of fun. I love being able to share with you all. So I really appreciate you being here and taking this time in November, because November is an interesting month. No other questions? No? All right. Okay, yeah.
So I have a table, I have clients. I kind of in my mind just said I would do it with Thai people and only work on females. But since you do work on both, is there like, you know, if I would work on this gentleman and wife walk in the room, they'd be like, you know.
Well, so one of the things about this is that it is an extremely intimate practice, but everybody's wearing clothes, right? Yeah. And so I feel like that alleviates an emotional barrier that a lot of people might have. Like when I first started doing Thai back in 2005, 2006, I actually never even wanted to go to massage school. I did not want to touch and rub oil on people's bodies, and I was having like severe anxiety when I was in massage school. When I had to touch a person under a sheet, I'm like, oh my God, they're naked. I'm like, what is this, you know? Eventually I figured it out and I did some psychological stuff around it, right? But I've never had that with touching a person who's clothed, you know? And then if a person's coming into the room and is like wife or husband, you know, I invite the couple. I invite the other person, like, oh, hey, like today I talked to a guy, he's in a lot of pain. He takes a ton of supplements. He thinks he's healthy, like pickleball guru, right? And I'm like, oh, well, you know, you live in Cape Girardeau. I can drive down there if money is less important than time. And he's like, well, I don't know about my wife. And I'm like, I'll teach her. You know, I mean, whatever I can do to alleviate the tension that you're experiencing. Like, I don't like seeing people suffer. You know, there are a lot of people who come to these things like they're perfectly fine, right? They're healthy, and this is like for enjoyment. I mean, this work, it was intended and was used years ago to literally resurrect people from the dead. Like people with severe bacterial fungal infections, cancer, whatever it might be. This is what stimulates the energy centers of the body. And it's not just the meridians. I mean, there are techniques where like you walk on people's stomachs. Like one of the classes that we did a while ago, we did a lot of abdominal work, you know. It stimulates the organs. Like you stick your elbow on my adrenal gland and you go, and I'm like, ah, but then all of a sudden I feel so much better and my heart stops palpitating, you know? So like there's a cause and effect of all of this work. You know, I haven't even taught you some of the stuff that causes like the nerve flossing. Nerve flossing really will get people awake and alive and regain consciousness throughout their whole body. Like, there are so many people walking around in the United States dead from the neck down. They only live here. And you can see it by the way that they walk and the way they carry their weight, and they're kind of clumbering through, or they're clumsy, and they're having a difficulty, right? They have no awareness. So this work builds awareness. Number one, as the giver, I have to pay attention to a pretty high level the whole time. I mean, my mind can wander a little bit, and I can process things that I'm going through while I'm working because I've done it so long, which is why it's so beautifully meditative for me. And I'm kind of addicted to doing this work, I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing else I would rather do for the rest of my life. I have to keep myself healthy enough to be able to do this for the rest of my life. And teaching it is part of that. But then as you're receiving it, like, you probably noticed that there were some things in your body that you didn't know that you had when you walked through the door, because your mind has completely disconnected from it. And yes, there are situations where, you know, if we have pain in our body and we got other things to do, like, our body just has to, our mind has to just turn that off for those moments, you know. But eventually they have to get dealt with, you know. And the same thing is like psychologically too, you know. There are events that happen in our life and they affect us long term until we can get to work through them, right, on the psychological level. And that's what I do on the mat. When I receive, I just process. Like, there's like some work that, like, in my arm, and I'm like, oh, I remember when that happened. Wow, that's been in there since I was like 15 years old. And it's been inhibiting my function long term, even though I had no concept of it for years. And then, like, Julian was working on me, and he went through and like stripped all my muscles. And I mean, there were like so many things that I had processed, and now my arms are working a lot better. So, you know, if it's not this work, it can be some work, you know. But I went to a thing yesterday, and I got to work on 2 people over the course of 4 hours, and I was slightly disheartened. And at the same time, I had a conversation with someone. She's like, I don't let anybody touch me. I don't even let my husband touch me. And I'm like, that's so sad, you know? Like, human communion with one another, that is the biggest thing that's keeping people anxious and depressed, is loneliness, right? And so being able to convene with a person that even you have never met before, or the person that you love and care for, right? Like, this is the time to get close and to share all that good energy. So yeah, I can talk about this for hours, so thank you. All right, any other questions? Did I answer your question about the guy thing?
Yeah, I think I'm still going to start with females just because I work for SSM. No fire me.
I mean, it's good. It's good. You can work on whoever you want. I mean, I've had moments where it's like, I've had heebie-jeebies working on people, you know? And at the time that I had the heebie-jeebies, like, I needed the money. So I was like, okay, I'm going to allow myself to work past this. But now, if I meet someone and they give me the heebie-jeebies, I'm just like, gosh, what is this about this person that makes me feel this way? Because I know this person is not here to harm me. They're probably in desperate need of help, and that's why they're seeing me. They've tried everything else. Like, I love Thai because it can help everybody, and I also don't love the connotation that everybody sees everybody else and I'm the last resort. And then by the time they get to me, it's like, whoa. You're gonna need a lot of work if you're willing to go there. I'm gonna do the best that I can in the shortest amount of time that I can. But yeah, I'll actually end up referring back out to physical therapy when I can't do certain things. I talked to you about that when I met you a few weeks ago, you know? Like, I can't do pelvic floor therapy. I can work everything externally to the best of my ability, but if something happened to someone a long time ago and things are out of whack on the inside, there's not so much I can do. So there's a lot of special people out there who do a lot of special things, and you're all special too, so thank you.